Another day of druggings. I don't think there hasn't been a single day, has there? Since about, I'm guessing, early to mid-December that I haven't been drugged up. It may go further doped up, it may go further back than that. Which to me is just like, well, there you go. What I mentioned in the last video about I wasn't sure whether I saw in 2000 via the internet and other methods that something was going down and that certain things were being presented. I knew it was crap, but didn't know anyone else believed some of that stuff. But people really did believe quite a lot of that stuff. Anyway, it had already been decided what the outcome. There were people who were going for something, and some sort of denouement. They were going to get it no matter what. It had already been decided. That was pretty much that. So yeah, I did in 2000, like in 2025. I sort of know that the type of stuff that's going on. Interesting druggings today. When I was putting out the bins, not much point in me. It's the people administering the covert doping will know what type of effect they're going for, and so if they want, they can explain it to people. So, anyway, yeah, it's sort of dawned on me today that pretty much everything now is just a repetition of the type of stuff that used to go on the psychiatric ward. You could even apply that to vehicles. It's essentially the same kind of stuff, isn't it? So, like, if you, I could do another exhaustive list of the type of shenanigans and adverts and so on and so forth, but just adapt the list and the four elements, the variant characterization. It's sort of, you can sort of apply that quite easily to pretty much everything that goes on around me, sort of thing. It's very reminiscent of that. Sometimes I do pass comment on it. A lot of when I'm drugged up, when I'm doped up. But all the time I just but it is good. It is good now and again to point out the mechanics of it. But yeah, overall a good day though. Done some reading, some interesting reading, just to get into the swing of things. But yeah, there's this thing I want to read out to you. Last night I mentioned the term habitus, and there's something else from a book called Language and Power by let me have a look. Norman Fairclough, I think it is. I won't look it up. But yeah, in the chapter Common Sense and Ideology, there's this, and I'll read it at length, and interject a few ideas that sort of, could be applicable, and some I think are applicable in many ways to what's going on. Right, the what I'm reading, I don't know if it's a direct quote or whether I took notes, but I'll read it anyway. The naturalization of the meaning of words or images, and so on and so forth. Do you know what I mean? It can be the naturalization of the meaning of words and all manner of stuff. It's an effective way of constraining the contents of discourse and, in the long term, knowledge and beliefs. So too is the naturalization of situation types. which helps to consolidate particular images of the social order. The naturalization of interactional routines is an effective way of constraining the social relations which are enacted in discourse, and of constraining in the longer term a society's system of social relationships. Finally, the naturalization of subject positions self-evidently constrains subjects, and in the longer term both contributes to the socialization of persons and to the delimitation of the stock of social identities in a given institution or society. Naturalization, then, is the most formidable weapon in the armoury of power, and therefore a significant focus of struggle. Common Sense and Ideology is the chapter. I think it's chapter 4 in Language and Power by Norman Fairclough. Quite an old book, but an important book. And what I've just read is pretty important. To apply to many, if not everything, if not all the adverts, this, that, whatever, the drug-ins, so on and so forth. Hang on a sec. Right, this is quite important. Now, I'll omit a word that critical discourse analyst wouldn't use, I don't think. So I'll cut it out, quite possibly edited into the text. Right, naturalization is the road to common sense. A naturalized type tends to be perceived not as that of a particular grouping within the institution, but as simply that of the institution itself. So it appears to be neutral in struggles for power, which is tantamount to it being placed outside ideology. Now, the thing is, the institutions involved in this are not outside ideology, are they? So the two passages I've just read there are pretty important. The way, like with Habitus and like with other things, like with the medium's message, and the naturalisation of all this pretty much going on, which you'll have had people running around on TV saying, "Oh no, this is like whatever." It's pretty bizarre. But so many people in my immediate environment appear to be going along with it. But who knows? I'm unaware what may be going on further afield. But anyway, it's just like, it really is boring stuff, and there really is so much irrelevant stuff going on. For the bulk of today, I've just got on with it. It was only around food time, I think it was, and the occasional comment throughout the day where around food time in the evening, I was doped up, and sure enough, they were promoting their products, sort of thing. And me, it's just like, I pretty much laughed it off, as you should. The type of people, like the architects, you should just laugh at them and leave them to it. But I've gone over that countless times. But even despite the fact that elements of their power are pretty evident in many ways at times. But which can be characterised in any way people want. But important, those quotes I've written to you, that I've read out, the naturalisation of the meaning of words, the meaning of all manner of things, the naturalisation of situation types, the naturalisation of interactional routines, the naturalisation of subject positions that are engineered and worked with via. But earlier on, when I was on the toilet, a speeding car went by. And I said, I don't actually know what that's supposed to mean. But, like, I'll be going out on telly, right, there will be assigning meaning, as I like to do. And they'll be saying, oh, it means this, it means that. it don't actually matter, does it? I don't think it means fuck all. It's like when we get people beeping their car horns, like I've said in this room, about manhole covers. Crazies going around driving at manhole covers. That seems to have abated quite significantly. You know, there was a time where that type of stuff had an effect, where that type of stuff had meaning. I mean, that time has come to an end a while back, quite a while back now. You know, in sort of characterising what's going on, no matter what's going on. Well, though they're pretty much the same stunts, the same adverts, the same this, that, and whatever, the same motivations of the people involved that went on the hospital ward. The psychiatric ward, important distinction. The psychiatric ward I was on at the end of last year, and that I came off just over 10 weeks ago, I think it is now. 10.5 weeks ago, I think. Maybe a bit longer. But yeah. But overall, I mean, I've let off a bit of steam in this. Not really, but nothing much has happened today. I think the most significant thing that happened today was the drugging I had around putting out the bins, which I did earlier. But I'll leave it at that. There's no real need, like I say, there's no real need to go into any detail about it, because about what the particular drugging was in trying to engineer and bring about. You know, I said before in these videos about druggings that just did not square with reality, with how things are. That's the way it is. Me now, I'm going to get into a bit of reading. It's a bit late, 9:05. I may actually, might do a bit more reading. Just like reading though. You know, and but stuff that I wouldn't mind putting into videos, quite in the foreseeable future, if that's the right way to put it. For the time being, that's a better way of putting it. Anyway, yeah, it's not a lot to say really. Nothing much has gone on. In fact, the only thing of any significance, I think, was when I went to put in the bins, and you know, the doping's increasing now, because you know it's part of habit stacking and their atomic habits. You know, what I do with these videos, there's got to be some performance, a few ads, all the rest of it. In the ad campaign, which taking my lead off the chapter Common Sense and Ideology in Language and Power by Norman Fairclough, is well, there you go.